Auston Matthews. What's it been like to sort of be there the last couple of years as you're obviously witnessing greatness here?
Yeah, it is special, and you're always thinking of how do we make this sound different or whatever, because it's just it's a throwback to the old days when I mean, when I was younger, we used to get used to Gretzky scoring 90 or Brett Hull scoring 80 and Mario in the 80s, but I honestly thought all of that had gone away and that we weren't going to see this prolific goal scoring anymore. I mean, it's unbelievable to me that not only on pace for 70, but nobody is among active players have scored even beyond 65 that Ovechkin had. So now that we're talking 70, 75, and I know his glove says 80. I don't know what that means, but it's beyond what I expected, and it's been a lot of fun.
Yeah, no kidding. I agree with you. Like, coming in the last 10 years, I mean, the goaltenders are so big. It's just the defense is so strong. The guys are so strong and they're so athletic and they're so fast in their positioning. It was so hard to score for a while there that they basically had to open the game up trying to get more scoring going. And now it's basically come to fruition. And I just can't believe the way that these guys are scoring, and the big boys like Auston Matthews in particular. It's wild. What do you do to prepare for a game, especially when you have something like this on the horizon? Obviously, it's pretty obvious what we're looking at tonight, but there's so many times I listen to you guys in your play-by-play. You have the stats coming off left, right, and center. I know people are handing you papers and stuff, but you must have a pregame routine where you kind of go over some things and what are the potential storylines and whatnot. Do you have a routine that you stick to?
Oh yeah, I've in fact, I was going to get up just before you put me on. I was going to get my game sheet because I'm always crunching numbers, especially the numbers when you've got a guy like Matthews are particularly fun to number crunch and to see where he's going and if he scores one in the game, what does the pace change to, and if he scores two or whatever, and I mean, the fact, what is it? I think it's 35 in the last 32. It's just it's beyond now. And also remember, I believe, now I don't keep track of these, but somebody else does, but he has hit post or crossbar 15 times, and they didn't count 3 times when he went around the world there a few games back. So I mean, think of where he might have been. It is mind-boggling, and I know we don't want to get ahead of ourselves, and it's so long, but you look at the trajectory and you think, man, if he stays healthy, he can be with Ovechkin in 10 years. And that's beyond what I might have considered a few years ago. And I think a few other people have mentioned this. When he came into the league, we knew he was going to be a star, but I don't think we knew exactly what kind of player he was going to be. And I don't know if anybody in 2016, even after the 4-goal first game, did anybody say this guy is going to be one of the all-time great goal scorers? I think we all knew superstar, but top 5 goal scorer of all time, it seems likely now. I'm not sure it was obvious 5-6 years ago.
It's funny you say that because I was thinking about that the other day. I was talking to a couple buddies and I'm like, I remember when they drafted Auston Matthews, is like a lot of people were excited. I remember we had a little get together where the draft lottery took place and all the buddies, everybody's fired up. But it's like, I don't think I could have foreseen a scenario where it's like this guy scores every game. And I'm happy you brought up Ovechkin. I think the longevity is obviously what's going to set Ovechkin apart from others. Like, that's the big thing for me, is like, yeah, Matthews can score potentially 70 in a year, which is crazy. But how long can he do it? Can he do it 10 to 15 years is my question, right?
It is a good question. And that's, I mean, we'll find out. But for now, he's already ahead of that trajectory. You know, when he came into the league, I hate to be an old guy, but I love to throw out the old names. When I first saw him, I thought Phil Esposito, because Espo was one of those guys, when he got in the slot, it was automatic. And the reason I bring him up now is, so I started looking the other day at how many 70-goal scorers won the Hart. And if you get to 70, is it an automatic? And Espo was the first guy to get to 70 in the 70-71 season. And he didn't win the Hart, but there was a guy named Orr playing with him. So there was a reason for that. But I got away from that comparison, but I find that, I keep coming back to it because Espo, he was hard to pin down on what type of player he was, but you knew when he got in the slot and or got him the puck, it was in the back of the net. And so that comparable, I think, remains. Big center, bigger and stronger than most guys he's playing against. And so yeah, there's a lot of comparables, and maybe there aren't any other comparables, but I still kind of like the Espo one.
Yeah, and I just think that these guys are kind of playing a different hockey. I attribute a lot of it to the sticks. I mean, I've put one of those new sticks in the hand. I mean, I remember being 14 years old using an Easton stick that's 110 flex, that not one kid in the world has any business having that in their hands. And now these full-grown men are using 65 flexes, and it's the way they shoot the puck and the placement. Like, they're on their back foot with their weight nowhere near where you're traditionally told to shoot from. And they're getting this thing off in a way that I've never seen before. Sometimes it's just the placement that's perfect, and I don't think you can find anyone that's as good at that as Auston Matthews. He can score from anywhere with like one-timers. He never dusts that thing off. The puck is gone and off his stick before the goalie even knows what's going on, let alone the defenseman in front. It's on another level. And yeah, I don't know if it's because he's from Arizona or people weren't paying attention to him as much throughout that draft year, but he has come on the scene, and he is the absolute front runner. The only one I could see that might have that much of a hype is Bedard. And is he hyped up too much? He's kind of the opposite of Auston. Everyone has expectations galore for him. He's doing very well to keep up to them, but Auston didn't really have that, and he's able to just blow the doors off the league and say, no, I'm one of these special guys.
Yeah, well, I wanted to ask you because have you seen a guy change the angle of in his process of shooting like Matthews? I mean, we've seen great shooters in the past. I mean, you can name any number of them. Mike Bossy probably at the top of the list, but with Bedard, seems to be mimicking a little bit the style of Matthews, that ability to in tight and from different spots change the direction, the angle of the shot, and maybe that's what's giving the goaltender so much trouble.
Yeah, the only one I can think of that would be even comparable, who I think's way ahead of his time, was Phil Kessel, and he used a really whippy stick, and you can see pictures of him when he leans on like even a snapshot, that thing's in a bow. But he just said, I like to just load the stick up on the ice and then just let it retract, and it does the work for me. And that's what all these kids are doing. And I feel like when they get that puck, it's already loaded up, that thing's flexed, and they can just kind of pivot and drag as they wish because it's not that strong of a stick. It's got a lot of flex to it. And they change the angle so quickly and in stride, and not even on balance or front foot, back foot. It doesn't matter. It's really incredible. And I think the stick manufacturers have made something that has never been made before. And these kids and their talent have just taken it and they've just gone to the moon. And it's fun to watch. I feel bad for goalies because I thought goalies had the edge for quite a while there when I was playing. They're so big. Guys can't seem to beat them. It's just a different way to score. And nowadays guys are beating them from up at the top of the circles with clear vision. It's incredible what they're doing. So super fun to watch. And I'm glad we got one of those guys on our team.
Yeah, he can score from distance, but he scores in tight too. And you mentioned sometimes we get stats guys helping us out. And the other in Monday in St. Louis, he hits the post on a backhand. And I was kind of wondering, well, how many backhand goals have we seen from him this year? And Jason Murdoch, my statistician, a couple minutes later hands me a sheet, 6 backhand goals, and I'm thinking, really? He's 6 of those too? I mean, he scored every way possible.
Yeah, and I always say this, I like to pinch myself and live in the moment and understand and comprehend. I'm witnessing greatness. As you know, I got to cover the team a couple of years back with Gord Stellick, and that was just a blast because, again, every game he was scoring then. But I was going to ask you too, like, how do you prep for milestone goals? Like, the one thing I've realized with your illustrious career, like, you hit everything, like the golden goal, did you see that's like, is there preparation? Like, how does your mind filter when making these amazing calls?
Well, you think about what I always find that these are great moments. You just want to frame them properly. The masterpieces on the wall, and any frame will do. But if you get the right frame, it makes it even stand out a little bit more. So I think about numbers and sayings with numbers, and I actually bounced one off my son the other day, and he vetoed that pretty quick. And I bounced it off him because I wasn't sure either. So, we won't get into 50 Shades of Greatness tonight, I don't think. But yeah, you're always thinking about something. This might be a little easier because of where we are. So, it's a special moment. It's an honor. It's a privilege to be kind of rinkside and even having your soundtrack on special moments. So I was fired up for 60. I got to tell you, I missed his 50th goal. I think that was on TSN, and then we got COVID in Florida right before he broke the Leaf record. And I'm thinking, man, he scored 55 goals. I've probably called 40 of them, and here's 2 of the milestone goals, and I'm sitting watching at home, and that kind of so when it got to 58 in our final telecast, I just thought tonight I'm hoping for it, and I almost got a little too excited because I think I called the goal before it went in, but that's easier to do with Matthews because when he's alone in the slot, you're pretty sure it's going in.
Exactly. What are your thoughts as we're coming up on this Alex Kerfoot revenge game? And I mean, it's kind of been a theme this year. We're giving these player tributes to these very, very average players. I mean, I guess it happens during the TV timeout for the most part, so you don't have to be involved. But do you find yourself wondering, what are you supposed to say about, trying to make a huge deal out of something average? I mean, these guys probably can't even expect a tribute going back to a team where they played a handful of games with. Do you find it odd that they're doing that? Is that just the PR side of the organization's trying to make something for the fans to look at?
Yeah, we've kind of got a rule or unwritten that we don't usually show it unless it's an obvious. I know it probably bothers Craig Simpson more than me. So when the Engvall thing went up, I kind of give him an elbow in the booth. Although, you know what, I mean, I keep reading about video tributes. I didn't see any video for Pierre Engvall. I just saw his picture on the scoreboard. But I was watching an Arizona game about a month ago, and Matt McConnell, who does the play-by-play for the Coyotes, was quoting Andre Tourigny about how Sheldon Keefe had given such a positive review and let Tourigny know he was getting a really valuable player in Alex Kerfoot. So I know that Kerfoot was valued probably more in the room and in the coaching office than he was by the fans. Clearly the Leafs moved on, and that was not a bad decision. And Kerfoot, as I'm looking at the stats and I'm thinking it's the same Alex Kerfoot. His numbers in Arizona are what they were with the Leafs. And I always thought he was going to be a better player. I mean, he scored 19 in his rookie year with the Avalanche, and you thought there might be something more there. And when we saw the 51-point season a couple of years back, and thought it maybe that would spill over into the next year and maybe make him a more valuable third line guy. But it just didn't happen in Toronto. But I'm sure there's a lot of Leaf players that'll be happy to see him tonight.
Let's not forget Sean Dursey either, right? Playing the Maple Leafs once again. Just to wrap, Mullett Arena, have you called the game there before?
I have not. We missed it last year. We had travel issues and couldn't get there. So it's been on my list. I think it's my 59th rink or 60th. I gotta check that. But I was so I know Jay's not too happy about it, but I even walked over last night just to check out what it's going to be like, and I will tell you this: it looks like one of the better junior rinks in on the circuit. But anyway, for the fans in there tonight, and there were still tickets available, which tells you probably everything you need to know about Arizona hockey. God. That's which is hard to believe. But if you have a ticket in there, it's like you've got a platinum seat. It'd be a pretty good place to watch a milestone game.
Yeah, maybe all the teams should go down to 5,000 seats. Oh my God! If you've been to 50 or 60 rinks in the league, that tells me that you've been to some of the greats in the past. And I feel sorry that you've done games in those buildings, and now you have to do one in this one tonight. So we'll be thinking about you.
Yeah, far cry from the Montreal Forum and Chicago Stadium and Maple Leaf Gardens. That's for sure.
Kidding.
Make sure to check out more of our content right here on the Leafs Nation YouTube page. We got long form interviews, we got clips, we got epic rants by Jay Rosehill. We simply have it all. And don't forget, you can find out much more at theleafsnation.com. Thanks so much for watching.